Mr. Dhanendra Kumar, he is the former chairman of the Competition Commission of India. Mr. Kumar, welcome to Sansad Television.
Very briefly to explain, this order issued by the Competition Commission of India imposed a penalty of, as you very rightly said, 1,337.76 crores on Google for allegedly abusing its dominant position in multiple markets. There are 5 markets which have been identified in the Android mobile device ecosystem, apart from cease and desist order, and that's the usual pattern which CCI does under section 27B of the Act. Now, let me first of all preface by saying that the detailed order of the CCI is yet to be released, but we have seen the release issued by them and also generally know what exactly has happened. So, let me first of all very briefly explain that smart mobile devices need an operating system, as it is called, to run applications, apps, which they are called apps and programs. And Android is a very prominent such mobile operating system which they had acquired, the Google had acquired in 2005. And in this instant case, the Commission examined various practices of Google, licensing of Android mobile operating system, various proprietary mobile application systems, Play Stores of Google and Google Chrome and so on. And also the YouTube, which is a very prominent system, which is again something which they had acquired, and it has proved very well for them. And the network effect and the technology and so on has given them a tremendous advantage, and they are used by most of the users, also app developers and people who wish to install the apps there. And also in India, somehow they are considered to be the go-to kind of a system. Now, there are 5 markets which have been identified by CCI. And very briefly, I won't like to take much of your time. Market for the general web search services in India, market for App Store for Android Smart Mobile OS in India, market for licensable OS means operating system for smart mobile systems in India, and market for non-OS specific mobile app web browsers in India, and market for online video hosting platforms, the YouTube in India.
Okay.
And the CCI in this case, and as you rightly pointed out, 2019, the case came up after a detailed examination and investigation by the DG. They found that they are dominant in all the 5 markets, and Google's their defense was that they are facing competitive concerns, intense competition from Apple.
Okay.
CCI seems to have come to the conclusion, no, the two are different, and now they have imposed this fine. Just one more comment here. Generally, CCI has imposed fines of nearly 18,000 crores rupees on various delinquent companies, but the recovery has not been very high so far. It's
okay, we'll come to that part as well. That's a very important aspect which Mr. Kumar has concluded his initial comment.
Completely agree with you on that, and also my co-panelists, what they have said. And by the way, I used to be in Ministry of Telecom earlier. I was additional secretary in the Ministry of Telecom from 98 to 2002. When the entire telecom sector was opened and mobile telephony came in a big way and smart telephones were introduced and so on. And as very rightly pointed out by my colleagues, the teledensity, the number of telephones, the technology and so on, they've undergone a quantum leap. We are here today because of the technology, and because the technology has enabled the users to get a new experience. And now people are using the various services out of choice. Nobody has forced them. The number of telephones in India and the various uses which have emerged, they are in India is comparable to the best in the world. Yet the fact remains that what CCI has said, what they want is that it is for the dominant player. Dominance has not been acquired by any regulations or law. It's been acquired by the technology which they have evolved and by the network effect of various uses and so on, and the number of users have gone up. Now, for the dominant players, and it's not only in this space, but for any dominant player, according to the competition law, there is a very strong obligation on the dominant player not to abuse its dominance, and abuse could be either exploitative or it could be exclusionary. And there, what they have concluded here, that the app developers and the consumers and the various other people, they are not able to have a free play in the market and the competition because of the various constraints put in by the dominance, and people have to go to them per force.
Okay.
Now, we are in a situation then we have to find a solution to this. And as has been very rightly pointed out by my co-panelist, one is to look at it in a totally integrated and holistic way, how it would be done. But India is not the only country where these things are happening. Google has been fined, for example, about $4 billion in EU, and they are facing numerous cases in USA and elsewhere. Now, maybe they would have to look at some of their practices and what they can do in order to open up, in order to improve their operations and practices. And by the way, although you mentioned right in the beginning, they will come to this in the later part of the discussion. In the Competition Amendment Bill, there is a provision, the bill is pending before the parliament, refer to the standing committee. There is a provision of commitment and settlement. So in the settlement, the delinquent parties can enter into a settlement with the commission and similarly offer any commitments. Now, this is a practice which is prevalent in Europe and elsewhere.
Okay.
And the idea in the competition reform, this amendment bill, would be, there are many provisions, this is one of them, that the parties can negotiate with the commission to what would be the reforms, what would be the changes in the market practices which they would include, and they can, the fines, the penalties, which could be up to 10% of the turnover according to the Section 27B of the Act. As of now, it could even be reduced. So, and they can reform their practices. So many of these things are going to be seen going forward. But we have to, I completely agree, we have to take a holistic view to what is possible. It's not enough just to impose penalties. We have to see that the market is there the way the Commission wants